We are back, everyone, to another episode of the Screen Crusaders Podcast. This is your host, Tex-Mex Morty, and let's go right into it. Let me bring in the panel today. Let's see who we got with us today. Of course, joining us is the greatest co-host that ever was and ever will be, Mr. Oyman. How you doing today, man?
Don't you?
No.
Right. I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to finally do another episode of the Screen Crusaders. I guess is this Marvel Mondays? I don't even know.
No, this is just Screen Crusaders.
Media-
I mean, we got more than
Media
just Marvel
Mondays.
news. Although Marvel is making an appearance, of course, on the board today. And while I bring in the next panel member, let me go ahead and bring in that board I was talking about. And how you doing, JT? Welcome back to the episode. Or the show, I should say, not episode.
Yeah, it's so excited to be here, guys. Listen, for those listening out there, go to the movies this weekend. Barbie, Oppenheimer.
See the Flash while it's still in theaters.
Indiana Jones or whatever. Just go to the movies because
See
you'll
Mission
be having-
Impossible.
yes, please.
Oh, that's on
so
my list.
I beg you, but
Oppenheimer's sold out.
yeah, but no, I'm really excited to be another episode of the Screen Crusader Pod. There's a lot to talk about, especially what's happening in Hollywood. We'll get more to discussion later, but yeah, I'm glad to talk about what's causing all this hoopla, all the shit that's going on in Hollywood right now. Sorry, language.
Jesus, we're like,
Sorry.
I was about to say, we're not even 5 minutes in, and JT's already trying to unleash himself.
Already getting us.
All right,
flag.
and we have also Miss Cap joining us after a long vacation that she took. How you doing, Miss Cap?
I'm doing all right. I'm glad to be back and ready to talk and listen and, debate and all that good stuff. It's really good to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back. And hopefully, I haven't heard back from him, but I do believe maybe Mr. Johnny Joestar is going to be trying to make his way into here, but we'll see. He's a busy man, and he's got a lot to do, but we got a great panel so far. And, of course, like I mentioned, let's go get a brief rundown of what's on the board for today. Of course, my panel, if there's anything I missed that was some sort of announcement or anything like that, any news that would make good conversation, feel free to add on to it. These were just the highlights from the past week or two, because as soon as we do not have an episode for the holidays and just be busy, there's a lot of news that came out. But like JT said a second ago, out this week in the theaters, we do have Barbie and Oppenheimer. Those are the two highlights. And of course, on digital, we do have The Flash. I mean, maybe people's living rooms would be more filled than they were the theater rooms.
Yeah.
But
I was one of those people. I did not see it.
well, you'll have your chance tomorrow if you want to see it at the comfort of your home for like $19.99, which is cheaper
no,
than.
thank you.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Just wait for HBO
Not
Max
Flash?
at that point. Yeah,
Okay. The Flush.
The Flush,
Flop.
the biggest box office,
flop.
the biggest box office success of 2023.
Actually, no, that would go to Indiana Jones. It's the second biggest success of the.
Yeah, isn't that gonna probably end up losing money, Mr. Oyman?
Both of them have already lost money. Indiana Jones will probably end up losing more though, because it cost more.
Oh man, I actually enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
That's those Disney executives right now. And they should be, because one of the topics we have that JT brought up is we are going to talk about, of course, the Hollywood shutdown, which is a pretty big deal for most of these projects. We also have SDCC gets another huge L because of that strike. So what's going to go down at San Diego Comic-Con? Who the hell knows? I mean, I don't even think they know. Bob Iger becomes public enemy number 1. EA announces new studio and a open world Black Panther video game, which is exciting stuff. of course, while we were gone, there was just like almost once a week, it seems like they're releasing casting information for Superman Legacy. So we'll go over what the cast is so far.
Yeah.
And because of streaming, and this also came out because of like the shutdown and stuff like that, it seems like the executives and the studio heads are really questioning Disney Plus and what it's done for their content as far as Marvel and Star Wars. So we're also going to talk about them coming out and saying they are going to scale back on stuff. So,
hey, Morty, I do have one topic I want to discuss with you.
What's up? Go ahead.
So, I think a couple weeks ago, on HBO Max on Adult Swim, it comes out like the next day. But My Adventures with Superman. It's a fun adventure with Clark Kent being at the Daily Planet. It has Lois Lane. It has Jimmy Olsen. It's a fun time. If you guys have not checked it out yet, it's on Max. The first 3 episodes, I believe, is on Max right now. Please do it. The animation is great.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. And it just, I kind of feel like this show is going to be kind of a precursor of what Superman Legacy might be about. Is like Superman becoming more himself. Clark is learning more about his powers and everything.
Isn't that
all
every
these
Superman
villains
movie, though?
Yeah.
Isn't that every Superman movie, though? He's like learning more about himself, learning about his powers.
So isn't every Batman and every other origin movie there
That
is?
is true. Yeah.
It's just a different take of it, but in a more creative way. And I enjoy it a lot. And I'm not a big Superman fan, so
Super fan.
that says a lot.
Yeah, no, it's something that I'm gonna eventually check out. You said it's already on HBO?
Yeah, the first 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
3 episodes.
Yeah, my backlog of shows and such is, well, and time in general is so backed up that I don't even know what's coming out that's new, other than like the big movies in the theater.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely give it a shot. What I have been catching up, and I actually didn't put it on the list, is y'all been catching up with Secret Invasion?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Okay. So
I've seen episode 1 and then proceeded to just not think about it for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Miss Cat.
That's where I'm at.
Honestly, how's the rest of the panel feeling about it? Without giving too much away, of course. What are your guys' thoughts now that we're past the halfway point? Is it really connecting with you guys, or
I have to see how it's gonna. I still have to see it in its entirety. I knew that from the get-go, because how it is going so far, I feel like we're over the halfway point, and it still feels like they barely told half of the story. Like, this story feels like it should definitely be an 8 to 10 episode season, not a 6-episode season. So, and I also feel like each episode ends the same way, with a major character quote unquote dying, and then the next episode you find out whether they actually did or not. And it's just kind of like, can't really tell right now, because each episode also has gotten shorter and shorter with each one. They're not a consistent episode length, so it makes the pacing feel wonky. But there is a lot that I like in it. I especially really like Ben Mendelsohn and Sam Jackson. I mean, they're both great. I mean, they were easily the best part of the Captain Marvel movie, and so they're both great here. And I actually like the guy, Kingsley Benadir, who plays the bad guy, Gravik. He's really good as well. Yeah, it's just I can't see how they're going to wrap up the story with 2 more episodes left, and that's usually how I feel about a lot of these MCU Disney Plus shows. They just feel undercooked.
Yeah, well, are any of y'all feeling underwhelmed by it? Like, it seems like it's supposed to be this grand scale thing and this like heavyweight stuff, like you said, Mr. Oyman. Like, every episode is like, oh man, something major happened. But am I the only one that's like feels like it's, even though they tell you
it's really gotten going, but it's already almost over. You
that's
know
what I'm saying.
Like, just
does it feel like
going, but
the stakes are there on script wise, but not really there when you feel wise? Am I the only one that kind of feels about it like that? Like,
No, actually,
like,
I agree, because I kind of feel like this should have been more of a 2-hour movie. Because like I agree, like each episode, I don't know, it's something's
drags.
off.
It like drags out certain things and then rushes other story things.
It does, and I kind of feel like, to be honest, I'm not enjoying as much as I thought it would be because yes, it's Sam Jackson's back, but it's slow. I mean, graphic is cool and all. I don't know. It should have been a 2-hour movie, or like a special presentation. But Marvel and its arrogance decides to put out each episode each week, and again, I'll see it how it ends, but I'm not.
Or just drop it all at once if you need to do 6 episodes, because this whole week-to-week thing, like I thought this, if any show was gonna work as a week-to-week release, kind of like WandaVision did, I thought this show would have been it.
Same.
And so far,
Same.
I don't
thought
think it's working as a week-to-week release.
And like I said though, it's like it wants to be a big, almost like movie event, but just nothing is hitting. Almost like the big reveals. Like there was one in this past episode, which I'm not gonna spoil, but there was a certain big reveal, and I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'm moving on. I just didn't feel the weight or the impact that I think they're trying to go with some of these major points on this, and it just comes off as like
questions. With every reveal that comes, there's more questions that are not being answered, and it's not in a way where it's like, oh wow, this is so intriguing. Now I have more questions about what's going to happen, but it's more like, okay, like why they need to. Are you going to expand on that? Are you going to explain stuff here? No, you're just going to keep moving on to the next thing. Okay, well, it's hard to stay invested in what's going on then.
So, Secret Invasion as of right now.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
But we'll see. Maybe this is...
I literally just might wait. Like, from what you guys are saying, I might as well just wait it out. I mean...
Once the whole thing is available, I'll rewatch all of it and see how it flows. Or, all in one sitting. But so far, I'm like...
But the thing that's getting me right now is I'm disappointed and underwhelmed as we're going, and usually... Unless this could be the one exception to where the ending is the good part, these Marvel Disney Plus shows
tie it all together.
Is usually the ending is the worst part. So if it gets worse than what's going on, it's kind of upsetting. But we'll see. Maybe this will be the unique case where it's kind of mid, like 90% of the way, and then it's like, oh shit, pops off and it gets good. But only time
delivers an amazing ending like She-Hulk did.
Oh.
That's not really a good thing to compare it to. I think that's kind of like the deal with like the fatigue whiles, like going back with like, I guess going into the topic of like, with Disney scaling back on their like stuff they want to put on Disney Plus. Because it's like the past 2.5 years, we've been getting like show after show of these, quote unquote new characters that's supposed to go into something else, or that's supposed to be a part of something, but we haven't really seen a payoff. And that's why, like with Secret Invasion, I was in the middle of vacation, so it really was like further in my mind. But after I watched the first episode, I wasn't like, oh, can't wait for the next one. I was just like, oh yeah, the next episode's out. No, I could wait. And then like the next episode's out. And I'm like, is it even worth it watching it now? Like,
well, you're not alone.
I'm at that fatigue stake at this point. Like, I'm like, sure, I was excited when it was coming out, but now I'm just like, why do I even bother?
Numbers were very low, so you're definitely not alone there.
And on top of that, it's just you're just putting out mid content after mid content. Like, if you want us to really stick to, like, watch the next big show or watch the next episode, give us kind of a reason to. If you just kind of go gliding by and just flying by with, hopefully you're hoping that our goodwill of being fans is going to keep you afloat. You can't do that. It's been showing in their box office numbers and in their Disney Plus shows numbers that when you give them a good product, they will come for it. If you don't, we're just going to wait till later. I mean, like you said, Ms. Cap, earlier with The Flash, it's like, I'll just wait till it's like on HBO, which will most likely be in less than a month from now. So, I mean, I don't know. So let's go ahead and transition over to the first topic, which Mr. Oyman and I'm pretty sure JT, you guys probably are more in on what's going on over here than I am. I'm just kind of see what I check in on every now and then, but the actors and writers for the first time since let me see, I think it's in this article. Yeah, for the first time,
1980s, I believe.
1980.
1960s was when both of them were on strike together.
Oh, 60s. Oh,
yeah.
further than that.
80s was the actors, but
The actors,
60s, it hasn't been since 1960s since both actors and writers have been out at the same time, which basically puts a huge stop to Hollywood, more or less. They just came in and
shut it down.
Nothing's being made right now, at least nothing big. Anything that falls under the
studios and CEOs are like, they're like, that is so selfish of you to shut down production just because you want more money.
Yeah, and it mainly,
how selfish can you be?
It mainly comes down to what's it called? Hold on, I gotta take the window capture down. It comes down to them, the executives being kind of greedy, and of course, the threat of AI that holds a loom
streaming residuals. That's
a
big one.
Yeah. I mean, like, Jesus, oh shit, what the fuck? Where did the window capture go? Oh, there it is. All right, so yeah, similar to this Black Mirror episode, like one of the things that the people on top, the studios were saying is like, oh yeah, anyone in the background, this and that, we'll pay you for a day's work, and then we could use you using, I guess, AI to fill you in, and we won't pay you royalties, we won't get you anything, we'll be able to use your likeliness for whenever we want.
No other studio can use your likeness. We own you.
No. Here it goes. With no consent, no compensation.
1 day's of work.
Yeah. So the balls these guys had to even.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Jesus Christ. So I'm flabbergasted, honestly. I don't know even what to say when it comes to that, because they are just that's a big, like, again, ballsy move.
That's a big no-no.
No, yeah, that's a big.
I don't know what they were thinking.
I mean, and on top of that, you have certain studio heads which they don't want to release, but we'll talk about later. They're over there saying that they let's see. I think we're in for a long strike, and they're going to let it bleed it out, says one of the industry veterans. And one of the executives said, where is it? They basically said that they want them to... here you go. As in this article from Deadline, this is a quote. The end game is to allow things to drag until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses. A studio executive told Deadline, acknowledging the cold as ICE approached. Several other sources reiterated the statement. One insider called it a cruel but necessary evil. But, like, geez, I get
necessary evil.
Well,
I get that things are pretty sour, but, like, fuck, man, to say, like, well, the people who bring in my money, who make the content, well, we'll let them just bleed out and lose their house, lose their apartments.
Expect us to lose our houses? Of course.
Yeah, it literally does sound like Bane from The Dark Knight Rises.
Necessary evil.
Like, but what are y'all's opinion on this? I mean, Mr. Oyman, if you know anything else, or JT, or even Miss Cap, if y'all know any other information that I kind of just went over the Cliff Notes version. So if you guys want to break it down and let the audience know more detailed what's going on, feel free to do so. We'll start with you, Mr. Oyman.
All right, so yeah, streaming companies are the highest paid CEOs are the streaming companies like Netflix and HBO Max and all that, and they don't want to release, in order for actors and other, filmmakers, crew members and stuff to get residuals, you'd have to see how many times a show or movie is viewed on the streaming service, but they don't want to release their numbers because people think that they are kind of, classic Hollywood accounting. They're fudging the numbers to make themselves sound like they're more successful than they really are. And if they show that their streaming numbers for certain shows are actually really low, then stockholders are going to pull out and they will no longer get funding, and then they can no longer be making the millions and millions of dollars that they're making. So basically they're trying to come to a deal where actors, because the actors and writers are the ones on strike here, so they're trying to get, like, I think a 2% increase, or no, like an 11% increase, which would be 2% of the overall, like, money coming into these streaming companies would go towards residuals. So that way, because it used to be you'd make residuals off of movies being shown on TV because of ads, or being rented, or purchased disc-wise or whatever, or even video on demand. But the streaming companies don't have a way to really, like, they just don't have the money. They technically do have the money to do that, but it would require the CEOs to take less money each year, which of course they don't want to do, because they need that seventh yacht. They need to get their seventh yacht and their sixth mansion, and they can't do that if they have to give up a couple $100 million each year to just pay people what they deserve.
Yeah.
So they're thinking that talks will resume again in October. That's what they're looking like. So we might be on strike for a couple of months, which is going to push all your movies and TV shows that are supposed to come out next year, the following year, or to later next year. So yeah, it's a mess right now.
Actually, to me, it's kind of a shame right now, because we are part of the, I wouldn't call it famous, but we have a podcast where we talk about movies and TV shows and whatnot. And I follow a lot of people on TikTok where, a lot of the famous people who do, like, go to premieres and everything and do all these stuff, like, companies are going on strike with the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild and so on and so forth. And so it's kind of fascinating, because it's going to be interesting once this strike ends, is how will we respond, to the events that's happened, because like, especially with like we just talked about, how, like, movie theaters are kind of important nowadays because of how of, like, post-COVID are not of the numbers like from pre-COVID times. So this will kind of give us a strain on movies coming up, and I just feel sorry for the actors and for the writers, because they work hard to bring.
Actors are going to suffer the most, though.
Yeah. They bring. It's hard to bring. It's a challenge. Actually, scratch that. They are taking their time out of their day to bring us a product that we wanted to see on the big screen or on TV. And so, with this writer's strike and this Actors Guild, like, I don't know. I don't know if Hollywood can recover from this if it takes, like Mr. Lehman said, in October, because they're doing reruns of all these TV shows, and a lot of new movies are not technically not good, so to speak, especially during the summer. I mean, some of them were, like, box office hits, some others would kind of underperform. And so, but if all these movies have been delayed a year or two, is it possible that like, when these movies actually do release, a lot of people won't go to the movies to see them because of how long it takes to be released? That's kind of a good question, don't you think, Miss Cap?
Yeah, but if I had to say anything, I kind of think it's kind of a good thing. Honestly, I'd rather wait for a project that I'm, like, really excited for, when everybody who's on board with that project is getting something out of it, and not just, they're scraping by because they have to, it's their job, and they have to push all this out and being mistreated. Like, I'd rather wait and everybody be on the same page and equal rights for, everything, and for it to come out really well. and for it to actually come out really well done because they put their heart and soul into it, then for them to just be like, oh, if you don't do this, then, we're going to come out with this lackluster, lack of better word, pieces of shit.
Generated piece of shit.
And
Yeah.
and not enjoy it because, the backstory to it. So honestly, I hope they get what they're picketing for, because honestly, if they can get it done, maybe we can get our stuff done and enjoy what they, give us. So
actually, it's kind of interesting. Sorry, kind of interesting that you say that, because I feel like we take all these movies and TV shows for granted. Like, for example, all these Marvel shows, it takes a lot of money, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of people to create these shows. And if they just stop doing all this, like, for example, Daredevil Born Again won't be out until like maybe 2025, 2026, depending on, how this goes. And I know it kind of sucks. I think maybe during that time we can go back to the Netflix version, kind of appreciate that version of Daredevil. Like, oh man, this is kind of a underrated, underappreciated show because how brutal it is and how Netflix kind of portrayed Daredevil as a man on a mission type thing. And so
the Ben Affleck one is the one that's underappreciated.
See,
but that's the thing about it. Like, with this off like that, there's also like streaming services out here. Like, there's some shows that are just like gone forever. Like, they put out one season and then like they don't give it enough time to even get people to watch it because they don't put out any like media on it. They don't, advertise it. So it's kind of like word of mouth.
Will never get residuals. They will never see residuals because there's no way to watch it.
Yep. I think it was one show came out in Paramount. They got one season. It apparently was really good, but they took it off the streaming service. It's gone forever. But people who loved it were protesting. They're like, why are you taking it off? We love this show. But because it wasn't, the numbers weren't right, they took it off. And now all that work those people put into that show is gone forever. They don't get anything for it.
That's why I like buying my shit physical.
That's why I'm with the Writers Guild. I'm with the actor, this strike, because it's just like stuff like that. The streaming service is like, oh, we're going to take down the show that you've been putting your heart and soul in for like maybe 2+ years because not a lot of people are watching it. And I think
on the flip side, if nobody's watching it, then it is costing the studios money to license it for them.
Yeah, and keep it on the servers.
Nobody's watching it.
Yeah.
Stuff
then
like
they're
that.
just burning
But
money.
I'll offer like
it's kind of a lose-lose situation.
a small limited run on like a Blu-ray, like pre-orders, like do 1 for 1. Hey, we're putting up pre-orders. So if you want to pre-order it for a physical Blu-ray, then you could buy it, and they see, oh, we sold 500,000 pre-orders and make only 500,000 copies or 550,000 copies.
Something like I just feel like there should be something, instead of it just being gone forever. Like, this show never existed, but it did at one point. You just can't find it anywhere, unless you.
Yeah, and I personally think
else.
The root of this evil is just studio greed, and streaming services opened up the gates for that. And now because of streaming services, they saw Netflix make a lot of numbers, even though they've just started breaking even recently. They didn't care about, they're in debt like 90% of the way there, but they saw big numbers and they said, hey, none of these contracts involve streaming, so we could pump less quality stuff out there, do some sketchy ass shit in the background, and now look at
the studios saw Netflix's success and they went, oh, we can do that.
Yeah, we could do that, and nope. Now we're having content.
Burn so much money trying to.
We're having content issues, budget issues, writer and screen acting issues, and all that because everybody in the like boardrooms wanted to have a piece of the pie. What scares me though is what Ms. Cappy said, that this is gonna push projects back and do more, make us wait more for something good. But what actually kind of frightens me is there might be the opposite effect. I'm really Hoping I'm wrong, but I think, again, these studios are greedy, so they might push back certain content a few months, maybe a year.
They'll put some stuff out.
Yeah, but
garbage.
That's what I'm saying. But once things resume, and let's say they're still going to want to try to have Secret Wars by 2026, so who gives a fuck if they weren't able to write for a year or two or whatever. They're probably still going to like have them kind of like what Across the Spider-Verse did, where they were making them do crunch and work like 12-hour shifts. They're probably still going to try to force them to meet that deadline, and we're going to get a half-assed, like worn out people product in the end. And I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I could see the studios being like, fuck it, no, you guys went on strike, you guys still have to meet the deadline.
Oh god, that would suck.
That would,
we get inferior product because of it.
Yeah, that's the only outcome. I like I said, I'd rather have Miss Cap's outcome, but I know how we've seen what these people said, like Public Enemy #1, Bob Iger. He's over there saying, like, they don't want to admit it's him, but we all know that he's the one who's making most of those comments, like we're going to make people lose their homes and such like that. Well, he's over there raking in $28 million in a year. And, I mean, yeah, he's the CEO, and his job is probably stressful to some degree, but I don't think his mentality's quite a good one to be looking at. So let me go to a more nice look or piece of news. We got the new Black Panther game that's being announced by, where's my window capture? So earlier last week, EA announced that that heavily rumored Black Panther game is actually being made. It's here you go. IGN says it's their new Seattle-based studio called Cliffhanger Games. And while they didn't release any screenshots or anything like that, because obviously it's very early in development, they did say it's an third-person single-player adventure game that's open world, I believe. Let me see.
That's cool.
Yeah. Here IGN says the project is led by Kevin Steffens, who was Monolith Productions. So there's veterans from the Shadow of Mordor franchise, the Halo franchise, God of War, Call of Duty. So they got quite a good amount of people who have worked on pretty good products before. So they're even though it's EA, they seem to be turning a new leaf. And an open world Black Panther game, is that something you guys would be interested in playing day one?
Jeez. I think that answers your question.
Yep.
Mr. Oyman, would you even be capable of playing this day one?
I'll find a way.
I think you're still rocking that 2013 technology, aren't you?
Okay, can you play it on PC? Or would I need a gaming PC to play it?
You'd probably need a gaming PC. I mean, if they're making this for next-gen systems only, I mean, I don't think a low-end graphics card is going to cut it. It's probably going to be like at least a 1080 to 2070, which is only a few years old, maybe like 7
Is this
years
a
old.
game that you can rent, or do you have to purchase it?
No, I mean, you could rent any game. You could go to like Movie Trading Company or GameFly, and you can rent a game. But it's
Right, I'm gonna rent this game, and then I'm gonna go to either your house or Ryan's house and play it on your PlayStation.
Well, I mean, if it looks good, I'm probably gonna buy it. I mean, it's like Spider-Man 2 day one, October 20th. I'm gonna be there. I mean, I'm not renting that shit. I'm buying that. What about you,
when does this come out?
JT?
When does this come out? What day?
This one, it's still so early on. They just announced it.
Oh, there's no date. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But it has been in development for a while because the rumors about EA making an open world Black Panther game have been around for about a year or two by now. Is this something that you would be interested in, JT?
Yeah, actually, I would, because for one, it's a Black Panther game, because, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, but Black Panther is always Wakanda forever type thing, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad kind of glad that Cliffhanger Games is taking this next step in developing a game where little boys and girls can become T'Challa, the Black Panther. So I am looking forward to this game. But I am looking forward to, of course, Spider-Man 2 and also the Wolverine game by Insomniac. But
they need to show me that
I'll
shit.
have to see the trailers and screenshots. But yes, I would love to buy this day one and play it.
And I would watch you.
Oh,
Yes.
man. I just realized that I put this topic on the title, but I didn't even put it on the board. So, we're getting right into it because I'm excited to talk about it. Last week, Ryan Reynolds on his Instagram, and now we've seen set photos where we've seen Wolverine in just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Perfect. Everything. Down to the last minute
Yes.
detail.
Like, what do you guys think of these set photos? Like, we not only see Wolverine in his classic yellow and blue suit, but we see Deadpool got a little bit of an upgrade too. How are you guys feeling now that we've gotten a more looks on some of these guys due to set photos, and of course more rumors coming out like Elektra and Daredevil, and there's talkings, but not from a very confirmed set, or not confirmed set, a confirmed like reputable place of Fantastic Four from Fox. What are you guys thinking is this Deadpool 3 shaping up to be? You guys getting more and more excited, or just about the same as you were from a few months ago?
I've always been excited about Deadpool. Ever since the first one came out. Like, honestly, has not let us down so far, and I mean, even with the switch over with, Disney, I'm not worried at all. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for what he's gonna do with this.
Whenever we get it.
Yeah, I don't even care.
Yeah, I love how we barely got these set photos and everything was going good, and then they had to stop production.
We were so close!
Actually, I am looking forward to see Deadpool 3 because, for one, Hugh Jackman's back as Wolverine. And number two, Ryan Reynolds is back as Deadpool. I don't think people can comprehend how much of a breath of fresh air that Ryan Reynolds was the Monk of the Mouth. Because remember in the 2009 version of Wolverine, he was just
Oh God,
the bald guy with the slow mouth. We
don't
hated
talk
it.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden, in 2016, we get Ryan Reynolds in a suit, Deadpool in the suit, and he was just the jack of all trades. And I don't care if it's Disney. Ryan Reynolds will put some obscene joke that says "fuck you, Disney," "fuck you, Bob Iger," or some sort of that fashion within the movie because he kind of
That's what he does.
yeah he does. He kind of makes fun of big conglomerates, so to speak, especially. So it's gonna be interesting. I know that we're going to take a page out of the comic book of how like Deadpool's going to
Kill
destroy
the Fox
X-Men.
universe.
Yeah, I think he's gonna kill the Fox universe.
That's what they're going to do. But hey, I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of sad that he won't ad-lib in this movie because of the writer's strike, of course. But
I don't know that.
here or
They
there-
can still ad-lib. They can't even film it right now. So by the time they get
that's
everything
true.
resolved, they could really let them ad lib or even do ADR. But that would still be. I mean, this movie's going to get pushed back so long.
Yeah.
that they'll have plenty of time to fun stuff. But I also think that they think that the script is probably good enough that they don't need to have him ad lib. If they do have something that he has in mind while working on it, while filming, if the writer's strike still doesn't end. I mean, the idea, I think, is to get the actors and writer's strikes both resolved at the same time rather than
Fine, okay.
one but leaving
Yeah.
the others. So we'll see, but yeah.
I'm just excited because good things come to those who wait. Like you guys mentioned earlier, we had that Deadpool Comic-Con like test footage that took forever to actually become a movie. Like they showed it to us after that dog shit fucking Deadpool from X-Men Wolverine Origins.
7 years to get it.
Yeah, and then it finally came out, and that first Deadpool movie was just everything we were hoping it to be. And now, what, like by the time this movie comes out, it's going to be like 22 years later. We're finally getting to see Logan in this suit, which proved my point that it could. I mean, the color scheme is a little silly, but everyone freaked out and thought it was incredible. So now I guess studios have no excuse to say that we're not willing to overlook how kind of goofy it looks, because at the same time, to us fans, it looks fucking fantastic. It looks amazing. It looks cool.
Yep.
That's what we want.
We've been getting comic accurate suits for many years now, though.
Yeah.
Which obviously they wouldn't have done this back in 2000, but
yeah,
we're getting it now.
But I wish they had. But better late than never. I'll take what I could get. I mean, I wanted sleeveless and him to be a little shorter. Maybe they could scale him down. I'd love if Deadpool's like, well, he's not comic accurate yet, and he like grabs like a mouse cursor and scales him down to like 5'3". But
or Hugh Jackman plays a Wolverine variant that's like a little midget.
Yeah, like that'd be hilarious. But I'll take what I get. This is one of the goated status suits. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, he joins the ranks of Guardians from Volume 3, Spider-Man, Moon Knight. Who else? What other Marvel top, like, what's y'all's top 5, let's say?
First Thor.
Thor's pretty
Captain
good.
America
First Captain, yep.
Captain America in Civil War, or no, Age of Ultron. That was the suit that I really liked.
Oh, I liked Endgame.
And then
I had the scales.
Yeah, well, really all the Cap suits have been pretty great. Even the first Avenger one was great, but obviously Black Widow. I really love Black Widow's suits and how they adapted those from the comic. Scarlet Witch finally getting her suit at the end of WandaVision was awesome.
Who else? Spider-Man. Oh man, if they touch
Spider-Man.
that, if they touch that if they touch that goddamn Spider-Man suit from No Way Home at the end, if they touch that thing, I'm gonna murder someone.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
That or Black Bolt.
True best comic to screen suit adaptation that we've gotten that's the best is easily Ezra Miller's The Flash.
Oh, well, I wouldn't know.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Yeah, no, especially just wait, Miss Cap. Just wait till you actually see that thing in motion, and
man.
It's rough. It's rough. Hell, I've seen people already have the digital version, and they're uploading like the Nick Cage pictures.
God.
And there's literally saying like somehow the high res versions look better than the screen capture bootleg ass versions from the movie theater. Like, how do you manage to do that? Man. Like, ain't no way, man. Ain't no way.
What a joke.
Ain't no way.
Joke.
So let me see. Let's bring up that bulletin board and see where we're at. All right. So, Superman Legacy, man. We're running through these topics pretty fast.
James Gunn and him, I trust.
Yep. Same. Don't let the Snyder cult scare you. I mean, they're a weird bunch, but
James Gunn, he's a pedo.
Well, I'm seeing a lot that like apparently they think Zack Snyder invented the what's that painting that Michelangelo did that they did in Guardians?
The Touch of Adam.
What?
Touch of Adam.
Touch of Adam. There you go. They're claiming that fucking Zack Snyder apparently came up with the concept of putting that in the movie. So apparently Zack Snyder.
Guardians?
What was the? No, he did it in Justice League.
With
the
Flash.
The Flash.
The sword.
Yeah.
Flash,
So according to the Snyder cult, Zack Snyder went back in time, gave
him off.
He gave inspiration to Michelangelo. He wrote the Bible. Apparently, he's Jesus Christ himself. I don't know what's going on that camp. They're wackos. But let's go on. How do you guys feel about this cast? So we have David.
What a cast.
Cornsweet?
David Cornsweet.
Man, that sounds like corn
from
sweat.
Hollywood and Pearl.
So what do you guys think of the Henry Cavill at home? Do you guys think he you guys look
very different actor from Henry Cavill. They just look kind of similar.
They do. He looks like the Henry
They look
Cavill
very
home,
similar.
But I personally don't know this guy. Have you guys seen any of the other projects he's in?
Nope.
Gotta watch Pearl. I'm telling
Not
you, watch
really.
Pearl.
Okay,
Great Pearl.
was he good in that?
What's
Oh, he
Pearl
was in
from?
Pearl.
What's
Pearl is
Pearl.
the
Pearl is
the
a
prequel
horror
to the
movie. You wouldn't
X.
like it, Miss Cap. You wouldn't like it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would know.
He was the projectionist, remember?
Yeah,
One
I
Falls
remember that. I remember that.
And when I rewatched Pearl again recently, and when I was watching it, I was like, I think this guy could actually be a pretty good Superman. And then like a week later, they announced him as Superman. I was like, well, there you go.
Yeah, like I get that Superman looks good and stuff, but man, they keep getting these guys with like the most chiseled jawlines that
Yep.
you would be able to like spot from a mile away. So it just doesn't help to sell the whole you put on glasses and they need to find a Superman with like
I have
a more
a feeling Gunn is gonna find a way to make that work. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how he's gonna do it, but he's gonna find a way to make the whole like he'll make it obviously a joke out of it because they always they've always done that as a joke even
Yeah.
back
Right.
to Christopher
just-
Reeves. But
Could-
I have a feeling that the way he's gonna do it is gonna be
Because
really,
I personally
really
have
clever.
seen cases where glasses do make someone look pretty different to where if you're not paying close attention, you wouldn't even recognize them, or they look like a completely different person. But these guys, I mean, come on, man, the little glasses, like you'll be able
That's
to
why
be
you
like,
gotta have
yeah,
him
it's
act like Clark
it's that
Kent.
tall,
You gotta have
handsome-
him be a bumbling idiot.
yeah, but they're like,
That
oh,
was
it's that
that's
tall,
what we
handsome
think from
dude all the way
Cavill.
over there, man, with the fucking
Cavill,
Greek
I was
jawline.
like, that guy's clearly Superman. He's not even acting
Yeah.
or sounding different. Like,
no.
Yeah.
it's the way you present yourself. That's why nobody would ever
Mhm.
suspect Clark would be Superman because he's such a bumbling
Yeah.
fool.
And the dude looks like a fucking Greek god. Like, Jesus Christ. How you how are you not going to notice it's like 6'5", 220-pound, like, beefcake just walking around? That's like, yeah, he looks like
That's
a
what-
god.
okay, but like,
That's what
I
the
would think
Superman
that too.
cartoon, the new one, does as well.
but like watching like the animated My Adventures
Yeah.
with Superman, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes a lot of sense. They make it work, at least in the show. They make it work. It's like
Yeah.
this,
Even Lois
big tall
Lois will
thing.
see him and think like, "Whoa, you kind of look like," and then he'll just do something where she's like, "Oh yeah, no."
Yeah, no, it's not you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
see. But, I mean, yeah.
You
what-
can make it work.
I could see that with, like, a normal-looking dude, but Henry Cavill, like, just dropping a ball or something or, like, spilling the coffee, he's still going to look like Henry Cavill spilling coffee.
Yeah,
But
that's what's so great about Superman. He's supposed to look like a freaking Greek god.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next person, we have Rachel. Man, I cannot read today for some
Shannon.
reason. The lack of sleep is finally getting to me, guys.
Rachel Brosnan.
Brosnan. She joins as Lois Lane. Again, another person I'm not too familiar with. I do hear these choices are great. But excited we got our Superman and Lois, which are going to be the main part of this movie. James Gunn did say that they're both going to be the focal point. This came out a couple weeks ago, but do you guys? Well, I guess they can't do it now, anyways. So either James Gunn knew, but were you guys surprised that they didn't save this information for like Comic-Con?
No, I'm not
I
surprised.
think they
'cause
knew.
nobody's
I
gonna-
don't know.
Yeah, they knew that
They
that
knew.
strike
They
was
knew it
gonna
was
happen.
coming.
Yes, they
Yep.
did. They knew.
They knew-
Okay.
yeah,
But we didn't know that at that point. So like, think 2 weeks
oh, but
ago.
they did.
Yeah.
Which is why they're like, all right, we got to get this out now because we can't talk about it once the strike happens.
Mhm.
That's probably why I bet for Deadpool they filmed just enough to like be able to put together a trailer or something while they're waiting to be able to film again.
Yeah, that would make sense. But yeah, it shocked me at first when I first heard of it. Until now, looking in hindsight, like you said, you're like, they knew something was up. But me, I was like, what the fuck? Why would they give like the leads instead of announcing that at SDCC? Of course, this is the one that got me. This one gave me a moment. Like, jeez, I was like,
Hey, okay,
Oh.
but if you were gonna put Guy Gardner in, that's a great choice.
no, he's Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion. Like, he has voiced Hal in the past, and he would play a good older Hal, or hell, even fucking his personality would fit pretty good for even Kyle, but Guy, I just don't see him as Guy. He just
Guy Gardner. I don't even like Guy Gardner.
No.
They're
I
probably
was
not supposed to. There's probably a reason he's in this movie then.
But I like Nathan Fillion. Like, when Davell he came on and he's like, look, news, and then JT joined on, and then they told us, oh yeah, Nathan Fillion is gonna play Green Lantern. That's what I'm talking about. I was literally like that in my mind. I was like that, and then like 5 minutes later, I couldn't even get a good celebration in. He's like, oh, it's Guy Gardner.
Bruh. Yeah. That was my reaction too. I was like, awesome, Green Lantern. I was like, all right, wait, but I was like, which Green Lantern? And now I'm like, it's Guy Gardner. I'm like, oh shit.
What's y'all's beef with Guy Gardner?
Why would they start off with Guy? He's just not cool. Wait, Puta, this is
he's
not
going to be the star of the Green Lantern
this
show.
is what I'm gonna
it's still
say.
Gonna be about Hal and John Stewart.
Okay, but look at it through me. Green Lantern is like, I grew up loving Green Lantern. He was probably my favorite DC superhero. Everyone had Superman. I mean, of course, I love fucking Batman. Who the hell didn't? But Green Lantern was the guy that I loved. And then we got that like mid-ass movie, which I tried convincing myself so hard that it wasn't that bad, and I still couldn't do it. And then they tease us with a movie. Go flash forward like 10 whole years. We still don't have that movie. We're told that there's a HBO show, so we're already getting a downgrade. But we don't get that movie. And the first Green Lantern we get after that monstrosity of a movie is Guy Gardner. And you're asking me what my beef is with that. It's just...
What's your beef with the character?
Trust me, you're not that guy.
He's not that guy.
He's not. How you explain to the viewers who are unfamiliar?
He's not that guy.
Gardner.
He's kind of a dick. He's like a pompous asshole, and he's just not cool. Like you got. No one could really tell you almost any of Guy Gardner's
feat.
He's the opposite
of what Superman's supposed to be. So you can see why Gunn might want to put this character in this movie and not undercut him with Hal Jordan in a Superman.
No, but even you could have a newcomer like. Not as successful Kyle Rayner, or you could. I mean, obviously, you're gonna save Hal Jordan and John Stewart for that. So you could still have Kyle, which is ends up being one of the like really good Green Lanterns that me and other people love as well. Like he kind of grew into that role. Guy Gardner never has anything like that to where he does have a small percentage of a fan base, and he's not like the worst character you could ever think of, but he's just, I don't know, I think he's kind of whack compared to all the other ones. It was very disappointing.
But here's the thing though.
James Gunn is synonymous with the word wacky, so I can see it work.
Hey Morty, but here's the thing though, this is good, right? Because you are talking about Superman Legacy. You are talking about a James Gunn film. So it doesn't matter what you do, man. You are talking about James Gunn and Superman Legacy.
Yeah, and I'm still excited for it.
We wouldn't be talking about it, but you just so hyped up about Guy Gardner, like, yeah, that's what James Gunn does.
But
he kind of tailors conversations.
But when you combine it with the casting again, like Nathan Fillion, I would have loved to see him as one of the other ones, even if it was not a mainstay one. Like he would have been a great older Hal Jordan or some other DC character that I actually enjoy, because I love the guy. I loved him in Firefly. I love him in the Suicide Squad. I love him in his voice acting. He would have, in my opinion, been the perfect Nathan Drake instead of Tom Holland if they did that movie a few years back. Like I love him as an actor. Anything. What was that? The Hammer. What was that, Mr. Oyman? Where he
was also in Castle.
Oh, it's Captain Hammer.
Captain Hammer. But what was that
Horrible,
from? Dr. Horrible.
Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
There you go. Dr. Horrible. Like everything he's been in, I've always liked him. The guy has charisma. He's a fun actor.
I'm sure this will be no different. I'm sure he's going to come and kill it.
We'll just have to see.
you'll be like, okay, even though I hate the character from the comics,
no.
Gunn did him justice here.
I don't hate Guy Gardner. I just think he's the lamest of the bunch of Green Lanterns. And after waiting,
what makes it so funny? Because
after
you have
waiting
someone
most
as
of my
awesome
life,
as Nathan Fillion playing someone like, imagine it'll basically be like the Green Lantern version of Captain Hammer.
Yeah, but
we
already got him as TDK on Suicide Squad. So I want this guy to actually get. I want this guy Nathan Fillion to get the more than just the bubbling idiot for like a scene or two.
TDK come back.
Yeah,
we didn't see him die. Still breathing.
But yeah, no. Like I said, I still looking forward what they're gonna both James Gunn and Nathan Fillion are gonna do with it. But I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not a little bit disappointed in it. It's just like, of course, again, if Davell came with the news of Guy Gardner, Nathan Fillion from the get-go, I would have tampered my expectations. But I had a whole 5 minutes of being like, holy shit, this is incredible. And then
it's hilarious.
It just came crashing down.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
No, he doesn't stink. I love you, Nathan Fillion. You're an awesome guy. Let's move on. So, we also have the Hawk Girl being casted, which is pretty interesting that we're seeing a Hawk Girl, because, I mean, we have seen Hawkman and Black Adam. Granted, it's not going to be canon. At least I don't think it is, but it's
the
interesting.
Hierarchy is about to change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like the hierarchy is about to change.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Go away, The Rock. No one's talking about it. Well, we were talking about your movie, but get back to lifting weights and shit. But yeah, so we got this woman, Isabella. She's gonna be playing Hawk Girl, and I'm interested to see
also
what they do.
Be in Madam Web, apparently.
Oh, jeez, why you got?
Only she was in the Dora. I don't remember her in the Dora movie. I don't know who she played. She didn't.
I think she played Dora.
I don't think.
I think she played Dora.
Summer said you're right.
Let me see.
So Dora the Explorer is going to be Hawk Girl. Okay, well she's
Yeah.
all grown up now. Holy moly.
Yeah. She's
Yep.
I think she's been in a couple other things as well.
Good.
She's been
Oh,
in
Transformers.
That's
the
right,
best one.
Instant Family as well. Yeah.
I just imagine her being like, "Can you say
I saw
Superman?"
Instant Family a few weeks ago. That was a good movie.
Instant Family's really good. Yeah.
Or I wonder
Yeah.
who's gonna be.
I could see her as it. I think she's got it.
I wonder
She was
who's gonna
in
be the
best
villain.
Transformers movie.
Who do you guys think is gonna be the villain in this? Do you
Keep
think
going
it's gonna-
down. Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down.
Well, I mean, these
Keep
are all
scrolling
heroes.
down.
These are all heroes.
Kevin and no, keep. You said who's gonna be the villain? I don't. Maybe him. That guy
No,
there.
that guy's-
Metamorpho.
Metamorpho, I'm pretty sure is. Yeah,
I know that they say he's a hero, but you know James Gunn, he's gonna flip him on his head because that dude could absolutely. Play
mean-
that
Well,
guy.
I mean, yeah, he's got no eyebrows, so automatically he strikes me as a sketchy bad guy.
Oh, he's
but-
good and great. Like this guy is fucking great. He's so funny.
Yeah,
He's
no,
gonna
I
be
don't doubt it.
He's gonna be
fun
a great
character.
Metamorpho though.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
could
Anthony
I could see it.
Kerrigan, like for real.
I could see him being Metamorpho. But we also have this guy. Didn't he play Darwin in what was that? First Class?
X-Men First Class.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There
Oh,
you
the
go,
other.
Darwin.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be Mr. Terrific now.
Always got to kill the black guy off first. They did in that
Yeah.
movie.
But yeah, no, I'm interested to see. Hopefully, this Isabella chick does her Dora voice.
He gets
to,
He should team up with Chuck Woody Awuji. Eddie
oh,
Gazegi.
Chikwudi Uji. Honestly, I saw some fan casting that like when they were going through like, oh, James Gunn announces this actor as this or this and that. There was a few that were fake, obviously, because they all led to like Metamorpho.
And he's got to clear it up on Twitter and be like, no, this one's real, this one's
But
fake.
there was the guy who played Kratos. Oh fuck, what's his name? Kratos, God of War. Let me see the actor. Not the old actor, but Christopher Judge as Darkseid. That'd be fucking dope. And Chikwudi Uji, they were saying as Brainiac. And honestly, I could get behind that.
Ooh.
After seeing him as High Evolutionary, seeing him as something like Brainiac, he could whatever you give that guy, it seems he could nail that role. I'm pretty sure James Gunn has a plan for him because he usually, obviously, tends to work with the people he's worked in the past, and he was impressed by him in Peacemaker, and he was also impressed with him in Guardians, as we all were. So I'm excited to see where James Gunn puts him. But overall,
the villain of Superman Legacy is going to be Brainiac. I truly believe.
Isn't Superman going up against the Authority in this movie? That's what I heard.
But I thought, aren't the Authority technically good though? They're just kind of like a demented version of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is that what these characters, Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific, are they all supposed to be have anything to do with the Authority, or are they completely separate? Because it does sound
they're different. They're part of a different team.
I'm saying, because it sounds like James Gunn is putting a lot into this first Superman movie. I mean, I'm sure he'll make it work, but it's like if we're putting the Authority and all these other characters and establishing a new Superman and Lois and
I don't think they're gonna be like as big of a part as we think. They're probably gonna be similar, like kind of how I'm gonna put it this way: Black Adam 2. Like if Black Adam could put the JSA and Black Adam and make it work and make sense, if some mid-ass like director and writers could do that, I'm pretty sure someone with the pedigree like James Gunn and all the work we've seen in him balancing teams and such, I know for a fact he can make it work. He'll know not to take the spotlight away from Superman and Lois, but he'll know not to squander these characters as well.
Black Adam was directed by the great Jean-Claude Serra, the famed director of Jungle Cruise and The Shallows. And Orphan. And a bunch of Liam Neeson movies.
Alright.
Wait.
Bullshit.
I had to do that. And there was no. Oh man, why you gotta? No. All right, so far, like I said, well, this brings up one of my gripes though with Marvel right now. How on earth could we get like this much casting from Superman Legacy and a script being written and everything like that within 6 months of being announced, and yet y'all motherfuckers can't get a Fantastic Four casting out when that thing was announced in 2019? What is going on over there?
The director a year ago.
What is going on? What?
Now the casting rumors keep going on, and now it's someone new. Like, it's just never gonna fucking stop.
Yeah, but
look here, they gave us.
It's been 4 years.
You know, one thing, and then now they're just like, well, we don't know.
I have the
anymore.
answer to the question. You want to hear the answer?
Sure.
Go for it.
James Gunn is motherfucking in charge of DC. That's why he understands us.
That's true.
So that's it. That's it. That's the whole answer. James Gunn is in charge.
He can.
Yeah.
By the time they even get to Fantastic Four, the movie, like the actors that they sign on, if they try to sign on anyone now, they'll probably be dead by the time they like get to the movie. I mean, we don't even know.
Honestly,
we don't even know if Mahershala Ali is still gonna make it to the time they make Blade eventually. You know.
Honestly, though,
they announced that so long ago, like there's just so many things can change within now and 3 fucking years.
I low key think that movie's gonna get shelved. I don't think they know what to do with it. They just
Blade?
needed a no Fantastic Four. Well, Blade too. Fuck that shit. After the shit
Blade
that they...
will probably get shelved. Fantastic Four is not getting shelved.
No, I don't know if they know what to do with them. Like they'll probably just roll them in as background.
They don't know where to put them. Where would they go? Oh gosh, where would they go?
They definitely have plans for Fantastic Four.
No, they're
just haven't locked.
Well, no, the characters, yes, but in a movie sense, especially with them scaling back on stuff. Good segue, but with them scaling back on stuff, I could see them just being like, "We're too afraid to do this. We don't have a cast. We don't have a director really that we trust." Because I'm pretty sure
he'll be good. He'll do it.
But like,
do a good job.
I would not be surprised if they're just. Oh shit! Did I close my window down? I did. I wouldn't be surprised.
Definitely 100%. I guarantee you. If they gave us Eternals, they'll fucking give us Fantastic Four. It'll just take a while.
Yeah, but now look at what happened. People are afraid to watch or to watch Marvel because of Eternals. So It's just like you got Eternals and the Disney Plus show got Bob Iger shook.
I think they're just gonna scale back on the shows and the specials because they were thinking that if they try to make the shows tie in too much to the movies, then people are going to be less interested in the movies going forward.
Let me put it up. I got the article. It's not just movies. They are just saying content in general. Like Bob Iger came out and he said that the movies and the shows, the movies and the shows have underperformed and they have diluted, and exactly what I said would happen. Fucking, they need to get me on their boardroom apparently. Because I told them
if they just do 2-3 movies a year, that's what they've been doing, and that's where they've found success. But once you add 3 or 4 TV shows a year as well, then
and not just that, just 3 or 4 shows that of characters or something that aren't as interesting as they were hoping to be, and so you got this problem where you stretch the budgets and everything so thin that now you got a half-ass product based on characters no one wants to see. And of course, like I said, Iger said, it diluted the product and it made the audiences kind of start shifting away. They started losing interest. They started losing hype. And it just, again, not just me, all of us have been saying this for the past year and a half, basically. And it sounds like they needed to listen to us, surprise, surprise, the fans, into telling us, hey, we don't want a Miss Marvel or a She-Hulk or this or 20 other fucking projects that no one really gives a shit about. Just give us, like you said, Mr. Oyman, maybe a project or 2 to 3 here. Or if you're going to do
who's opening chips?
I don't know. If you're going to do a show, I'd rather it be a special presentation that's a little bit more interesting, like Werewolf by Night, which that also apparently from Can We Get Toast? Is that the name of the Twitter handle?
Can we get some toast, yeah.
Can We Get Some Toast? Mm-hmm. They're reporting that they're going to be scaling back and probably not be doing almost any of these special presentations, which is a darn shame because if anything is good, it is those. Those are the ones that are highly regarded in the fandom. It's just they're not being watched by the majority of people because they're not advertising it. They're putting all their effort on these shows, which are mid and, like Iger said, dilute the product instead of putting their eggs on, like, Werewolf by Night. That was fantastic. The Guardians Holiday Special, that was great too. And instead, what they put their focus on is getting an Emmy for Miss Marvel, who's the actress is also writing.
Not gonna get an Emmy.
Oh no!
At least it got nominated.
Oh,
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Yeah.
I don't know who's voting for that.
I don't know what people's obsession with that show is.
No,
it just feels very,
It's just because it's like the first Marvel Muslim. It's like
it's an underdog show too.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm saying.
Watched. That's why people feel like, oh, but it was so good. It was so cute.
No. There was potential there, but they didn't do jack squat with it. It just. I feel.
The thing about it is that there is a silver lining to this all, right? There is.
What's that? What is it?
Here's a silver lining, though. Marvel is crumbling. DC.
Let's not be that.
Man, you sound like the Snyder fan.
It's on the vibe, baby.
Still, the top two highest grossing films of this year were Marvel movies, so they're definitely not crumbling. DC is already dead.
I know.
Okay, but hint word movies.
Yeah.
When have their shows been,
No, but
when's the last
but
show
JT,
you've seen that's just been
JT,
like, yeah.
I do have
I
faith.
think like what, Moon Knight was probably the last one that was like we were like really hyped about.
Yeah, that one.
One was kind of like okay.
That one was good. The end just got a little bit like rushed, but overall that one was not bad. They missed potential, but it was still pretty good. But you're right. Their shows, like I said, they're special presentations. I was super hyped about Guardians, the special presentation, and I got what I wanted. Werewolf by Night gave me what I wanted. The show's not so much. Even Secret Invasion. I mean, we were talking about it in the beginning of the show. It's underwhelming and undercooked. Where's my Gordon Ramsay? Gordon Ramsay.
Shut it down.
There you go.
They go back to the kitchen.
They need to go back to the kitchen and try again. They need to make less of these shows, and But back to JT's point.
Or just
actually.
make them Disney Plus movies.
Yeah.
Like make them just little.
Some of those do.
Hour and a half, 2
Hell,
hour movies.
The Marvels should have been a DC
Yeah, the
Plus
Marvel
movie.
should have been a Disney Plus movie if they really felt the need to make it.
Yeah.
But not make it a show, not make it a big theatrical movie unless you're going to actually do something with it and make it good. But that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
Based off what I saw.
But JT, I mean,
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I have faith in James Gunn. That guy, every movie or project he's done, the worst thing I could say about it is, "Oh, I enjoyed that," and that's the worst. That's the worst. So, 90% of his stuff I actually really enjoy. I mean, not all his jokes land. Some of his jokes are a little bit cringy, but if I could say anything about James Gunn is that he knows characters. He knows he's a man with a plan, and he knows how to get you invested in his projects.
I mean,
With that being
James Gunn was the one who gave us a scene where Rocket Raccoon is looking at baby raccoons, and then he sees that he was indeed called a raccoon, and it was such a sad, surprising, and funny scene all at once. Like,
Whoa.
like the fact that James Gunn can make you feel all these emotions with just something so simplistic and so effective.
I'm gonna do you one even better, Mr. Oyman,
Okay.
because he did it twice.
Yep.
This guy somehow geniusly made me care and tear up just by changing one word from "I am Groot" to "We are Groot" to "I am Groot" to making him say "I love you guys" because we're now part of the
Guys.
family. So
Your family.
literally,
Your family.
somehow he got a tree saying "I am Groot" to be way more impactful than anything in the DCU or half of the shit on the Marvel Cinematic
Actually,
Universe.
that's true.
Like,
The only thing in the DCEU that's come close to that was when Gunn himself made like the King Shark look outside the window and see two people in love and start tearing up. That's like, and again, that was because that was Gunn. So it's like without him, there's nothing that really comes quite that close.
yeah. So again, JT, because of that, I have faith in DC, the new DCU. But I'm gonna tell you, hold your horses. I mean, Marvel's not out of the count yet. I mean, they have been slacking in the past 2 years, but it sounds like they learned their lesson. It sounds like they're actually, like I've always said, you vote with your wallet. So we obviously didn't show up for some of these because we weren't gonna reward mediocrity, at least not in the masses. Maybe watch it once, but like Guardians, I've already seen that thing like 8 times. Thor: Love and Thunder, I've seen it once. So
I've seen it 8 times.
You're
not really.
You're a braver man than I am. but like Eternals, Thor: Love and Thunder, I saw those things once. So obviously, if they're getting my money, they only got it once. With these other good projects, multiple times. I mean, back in Phase 3 or even Phase 2, there were projects that I saw just as much as Guardians. I saw it like 4 or 5 times in IMAX or in the theaters. And
I still do, though. Even the mediocre ones.
Oh, jeez. But with that being said, like they've listened to because we voted with our wallets, and now they're gonna reassess. They're gonna rethink. Maybe we should do quality over quantity. Back how we were. And DC is going on the uprise, but we'll just have to wait and see, because I've said it a million times before on this podcast. We've heard this story before. We've heard the DC's making a comeback.
Oh, we're going to scale back.
And then
you're talking about DC doing the comeback.
Yeah. We heard it with BVS, with Justice League, or BVS, Justice League, Snyder Justice League. We've heard it with Black Adam. We've heard it with The Flash. I don't know how, but what crack they were handing out. I swear, those pre-screening, they were handing out money, strippers, and crack. I don't know. They saw a different movie than we fucking saw. But with that being said...
But it's tested DC movie since The Dark Knight. Didn't you tell? I mean, he saved the baby by putting it in a microwave.
And then we got Clooney back. And... Yeah, so...
Oh, God.
So we heard the DC going...
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Story like 50 times.
Okay, that was good.
And and it still hasn't come. That second coming for DC has not come. It
came with Aquaman, which was a very pretty just mediocre movie in general, but it made so much money that DC was like, "Yeah, we're back."
How?
And then immediately just dropped off the next movie.
How? I don't see how that movie made so much money. I fell asleep. I was
It
invested.
came out at Christmas. Every Christmas there's a big visual dumb blockbuster movie that makes usually it's Star Wars, but there was no Star Wars movie that year, so people were like, I guess I'll go see Aquaman,
Well,
even though there was Bumblebee and Spider-Verse, which was far superior.
I heard good things about Aquaman, and then I put it on, and I shit you not, I tried my hardest. I tried my hardest to stay awake.
In IMAX 3D, which is easily the best way to probably watch that movie, and even then I could barely finish it.
Yeah, no, that thing
I went again with David and Josh, and I fell asleep. I just took a nap.
That was me. That was me. I wasn't even tired when I started it. I was not even tired, and I fell asleep.
Much going on the screen that it just overwhelms your brain with just CGI and visuals, and it's just so much action. It's like watching a Transformers movie underwater. So it's like gives you that kind of sleepy like, oh man, I feel like just being on the boat right now, just taking a good little snoozy doozy. Even though
I don't know, man, but all I know is that both Marvel and DC have cured insomnia for me. I mean, maybe that's what I need to do since I haven't been able to sleep. If I put on Eternals, 3 out of 3 times I fell asleep. Aquaman, tried it once, I fell asleep. I mean, I guess if you're looking for a good nap, just put one of those on and then you'll fall asleep. Man, it's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Oh, before we go, though, I did find out that something that really shocked me this week.
What's that?
JT, you love box office, so
yes.
Tell me, how on earth, I was thinking Across the Spider-Verse was going to beat Guardians, yet somehow Guardians is on top. Obviously, Mario Brothers, but that's a kid movie. But
it's
how did Fast X beat Across the Spider-Verse? How? I have yet to meet someone who actually saw that movie.
Oh gosh.
You do know that in the U.S. it did not do very well at all.
We finally woke up.
If it did really pretty poor for those movies. Like, it dropped off a lot in the U.S. Overseas, man, they like them dumb fast car movies.
Why?
Overseas,
why? Like, at least in the U.S. At least in the U.S. we woke up, because normally even here they do good, and I never understood why. But
same reason that Aquaman made $1 billion. Jason Momoa. Audiences love him. Overseas, they love Jason Momoa.
Why?
What else is? I mean, there's no other explanation.
He wasn't even good.
Aquaman made $1 billion. Fast X which is like came after Fast 9, the worst movie in the freaking franchise, and it still made almost as much, if not more, money than 9 because of overseas. But people in the U.S. audiences were like, nah, you ain't getting me with that again. And a lot of them waited to waiting.
Fool me once, shame on me, or no, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me like 10 times, shame on me. But yeah, I was just mind boggled. I get that overseas they like some weird ass stuff, but like, man, every single clip I see of that movie somehow manages to be worse than the clip I saw before. It just
just wait till you watch the whole movie.
I'm not watching
all the clips.
I'm not watching that whole movie. There's no way in hell you can make me watch that movie. I sat through Fast 9.
I second that, man. I second that.
Never watch it unless I was watching it with y'all. That's the only way I would ever watch it.
I could be drunk and on crack cocaine, and I will not watch that thing. I watched Fast 9, the director's cut, and that was the longest 2.5 hours of my life. And I can't even tell you what that movie was about. I just remember I had like a migraine just from watching
Car to Space. That's what it's about.
But why? Why did they go to space?
And then the new one outrun an explosion by driving down a dam.
And Rocket League, and there was like the Rocket League scene where they like throw a nuke in the water, and Jason Momoa is just a clown, and it just again, every clip I see is worse. I don't know how they managed to make something worse looking than Fast 9, but they did. and it somehow beat Across the Spider-Verse. So with that terrible news,
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and end the episode right there.
We should go on an up note. On the plus side, we're looking at one of the biggest weekends in box office history coming up with
Yes.
Barbenheimer.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's projected to be the single best weekend at the box office since Spider-Man: No Way Home came out. And with that, we just got Mission Impossible, which opened a couple days early last week. So from its opening day to the end of its Sunday, it made more money than any of the other Mission Impossible movies did opening weekend.
I heard it
And
was
it's
good.
going to have fantastic legs. It's going to be a great, once people have seen Barbenheimer next weekend, all throughout August, I don't see any other movie playing as well as Barbenheimer and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, because it's genuinely a fan-fucking-tastic movie. I've seen it 3 times already. It just gets better and better with each viewing. It's so much fun. It's like the antithesis of what the Fast X movies are. Like, they give you the big spectacle, but are actually very clever with how they pull it off and aren't just completely brainless, dumb shit.
When I haven't,
Yep.
I haven't seen a bad Mission
I believe
Impossible
that.
movie. I mean, all of them, some of them haven't been like the most amazing ones, but
Yeah.
I have yet to see
And this
one.
one,
I thought was bad.
this one went up from. I actually rewatched a good portion of them over the weekend, and having seen Dead Reckoning Part 1 a couple times now, I'd say it's probably my second favorite of the franchise.
Okay. Well,
So
I mean,
would put it just
can't-
above,
Yeah,
following,
I mean,
just
you got-
behind.
you got
Ghost
Simon,
Protocol.
you got Simon Pegg, you got Haley Atwell,
Rames,
you
Haley
got-
Atwell's great in it.
you got
Rebecca
Palm.
Ferguson.
Yes, he is.
I mean, you
Palm is
got
great.
you got some fine women in there, and then you got Crazy Cruz trying to kill himself, and
Cruz.
I mean, what more
Accurate.
could you ask for an action movie?
Shea Wiggum is in it.
Who?
Shea Wiggum's great. Shea Wiggum. He's the you would know this guy. He's been in lots. But he was one of the cops in going after Joker in the Joker movie, and he's been in like Kong Skull Island. He's like a
oh
character
yeah
actor. He
I
shows up
think
in
I
a lot
know
of
who
stuff.
you. I think I know who you're talking about.
He was great in it.
But yeah,
Bad guy Issei Morales, he was great. I mean, it's got a great cast, but it's also like it just feels like a great, like classic Mission Impossible television episode in terms of like how it's very spy espionage focused, but then the action it's actually a lot funnier than they typically are with them, which kind of made the action scenes more memorable because of how they inserted comedy with, of course, high tension stakes. And there are legitimate stakes in this movie. And even though it is a part 1, it does feel like it gives you a complete full experience without you being like, man, now I didn't feel like the story got any kind of resolution or anything. Like, obviously there's still a part 2 coming, but it wasn't like Across the Spider-Verse, which ends with you feeling like a little bit unfulfilled with having any closure to the story. This is basically like the end of Plan A, so the next movie is going to be Plan B to the overall mission.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
That's pretty cool. And yeah, Oppenheimer. I mean, you're gonna get a Christopher Nolan movie. Those are always good. I have yet to see a bad one. Maybe they're not some people's. Well, not most. He got a pretty big following, but it might not be some people's cup of tea. But you're getting a very well directed, very well written, and acted movie when you see a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yep.
And of course Barbie, which have the reviews for that came out, Mr. Orman?
Are now dropping, so you can now say that you've seen the movie.
Okay, so I could say
you think it's going to be a kind of because here's the thing, it is getting. I'm seeing some reviews that are saying it's one of the best movies of the year, and a lot of people that are saying like, oh, it's way too woke, it's not very good, it's very mixed. So where do you fall in line with how you think this movie is going to be perceived by the general audience?
Okay.
Yes.
I will say it this way, you guys know me. I'm a harsh critic. I usually like I prefer movies just being movies and focusing on telling a good plot, good characters, so when the woke shit kind of comes in, I don't like it. If it's anything like the version I saw, which I did see like 3 months in advance, so I don't know what got cut out, what got put in. Apparently there's a Zack Snyder Justice League reference, which
if there's a Snyder Cut reference in the one I saw.
I feel like I would have remembered it, but I didn't. So they probably added something like that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I actually kind of enjoyed the movie. I will say keep your expectations tempered. Don't think of it as the second coming of Christ like some of these people are saying, that it's gonna sweep at the awards. I could see it winning some awards. Because it was
technical
pretty
awards,
clever.
like costume and set.
I feel like the only part I had a little bit of an issue with was with that slight political feminist type stuff where it's a weird place because normally I wouldn't say this. It didn't do enough. It didn't handle it as well as I thought they could have because it felt like they were trying to go here, but then also actually give like a not so black and white point of view and actually made something that was like, oh, okay, see both sides of the coin, see this, see that. But then they just kind of start going in that direction and start going in a very clever direction where it actually works. And then they just decided to be like, you know what? Nah, fuck it. Let's just do full-blown like actual feminist stuff and undermine the whole like last 30-45 minutes we were setting up. But again, that might have gotten cut out and they might have made it a little bit more balanced.
Would you say with it being a Barbie movie and what Barbie the brand has represented, all these years, do you think the movie did a pretty good job at just like handling what Barbie is and being the first live action Barbie movie?
Yes, they actually did a very...
Obviously, that's something that could be completely fucked up.
Yeah,
but
they did a good job at basically
handled pretty well.
At basically tearing the, like, let's say misogynistic aspect of, like the misogynistic history of Barbie, and they did a good job at like bringing it down, like tearing it down, but also not disrespecting it in a way, like knowing where she came from and improving upon that. Like I said, I didn't expect to really enjoy it as much as I did when I saw the pre-screening. It was actually fun. I mean, mainly because Ryan Gosling did it for me. He was he was incredible as Ken. His Ken song, the full thing, because you actually haven't seen the full thing from what they released.
I haven't watched any of it. I have not watched.
I haven't watched any.
Well, they released.
I am waiting till Thursday.
They released.
I haven't watched any clips.
They released like
a
minute and 42-second video of the song, but I will tell you, it was a whole ass musical number, and it was incredible. If
awesome.
Anyone like that.
Are there other musical numbers? Like, how many would you say there are in the movie?
There was at least. That was the like main actual one. There's a couple like maybe 2 or 3 smaller ones, but that's the one that kind of stole the show for me. Just Ryan Gosling just stole the show. I mean, I love the actor. He's a great guy. He's amazing at anything he does, and he's a great comedian. Like, if you ever watch the movie The Nice Guys, he makes me crack up in that. Him and Russell Crowe have such fun chemistry, and they're so funny together. But Ryan Gosling obviously has some comedic chops to him, and if you go in even just for him, you're not going to leave disappointed. You're going to get a product that has good chemistry between the actors, a laid-back, fun story, some cutesy visuals, and anything that you're expecting from it, you're basically going to get. It might not be as... Nice. One thing I will say is the mystery behind everything and all that they're keeping under wraps. It helps, but also hurts it in the way that it's a lot more straightforward.
Not everyone's gonna like it.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking straightforward. It's not as like you don't know what it is, but once it is there and you know it's pretty straightforward from there. It's a very point A to point B type movie. But it does a clever job at making it interesting without it being super simple, even though the plot itself is rather simple. Yeah,
I have a question, though. In terms of, like, now, obviously, don't answer this in too much detail because of spoilers and whatnot, but I've heard people were, like, who don't know anything about the movie, but they were suspecting, or they were, like, feeling disappointed or angry that Ken would potentially be the villain of the movie. Is Ryan Gosling's Ken in any way a villain of this movie?
I wouldn't really
would that
say
spoil it.
I wouldn't say Ken is a villain. Like I said, I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's different points of views in the movie that go with like feministic
kind
views,
of like
but they do a good job at making it not so black and white. So if some people think Ken is a bad guy, I would say not really. There's characterization that happens there that maybe could be perceived as that, but that's a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. Like I said, just go in and find out for yourself, because the less you know, the better.
That which is why I've stayed away from trailers, and like I'm not going to even listen to any detailed reviews of it, because reviews spoil too much too. I just read a couple Twitter reactions, and most of them were extremely positive. So do you think the movie will have like really long-lasting legs after its big opening weekend, or do you think there will be a large portion of the audience that is like does not like it, will tell people don't bother?
No, I don't think it's gonna be like a don't go bother watching it, but I think it's I don't think it's gonna have the longest legs per se. I think it's gonna be more like a heavy loaded.
Mario did.
Yeah, like it does most of its money the first 1 to 2 weeks. After that, kind of like once this social media like hype dies down, because that's what's really driving this movie a lot. It's people like ironically, unironically wanting to watch this movie. Like, oh, I'm a dude that's like depressed on the inside.
And do Barbenheimer double feature.
Yeah,
only because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah,
even though I normally wouldn't have seen either of these movies by myself anyway, but I'll do the double feature.
Basically,
that's the it thing to do right now.
Yeah, it's more like it's the it thing. It's gonna have some sort of legs because it's not a bad movie. But I don't see really, at least personally for me, I don't see it being like a rewatch in the mass audiences. My younger sister, she's a big fan of the director, and she really did enjoy this movie and plans to watch it maybe once or twice in the theater. So people like her might go watch it, but as masses go, I don't see it getting like I could see 2 views, but like 3 to 4 repeated views.
Like certain audience members would, like especially fans of Barbie would probably go see
Actually,
it times,
Mr. Oyman, this will answer kind of your question from earlier. I'm gonna try to word it weird. Don't go into this movie thinking there's a villain. There's like I would say like protagonist is Barbie,
antagonist,
and then there's an antagonist. Doesn't mean they're bad. It's just there's what they are. What driving
against what the
and it's not necessarily one character. There's a couple different things in there. So there's a plot. The plot would be the antagonist.
It's kind of what I figured,
and that's what drives it forward. Yeah, so it reminded me of like Lego Movie, but obviously the villain of that movie was President Business, and you don't get something like that there. You don't get a very clear like, this is a bad guy. You need to hate this person. No, it's more antagonist of the situations.
Honestly, wouldn't want a Barbie movie that had a clear bad guy. Like that just sounds kind of like why even bother making it if you're gonna make it that kind of a bad guy versus good guy movie. But if it's sort of like this ideology goes against this ideology, but we can find a way to live together in harmony, but still actually you should go with this ideology. That's kind of what it sounds like from what you're telling me.
what the bottom line question is, would Tex-Mex Morty recommend it? I would say I'd recommend going to see it at least once. It was a decent time. You do get your $12 to $15 worth of a movie ticket price for it. It was something that you could watch it just to say you watched it at least once. Whether or not you liked it, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was the second coming. I didn't hate it. I liked it a bit more than I thought I would. So I could say I could say that. That's what I could say about this movie.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Then.
So with that being said, now we'll go ahead and end this week's episode. Once again, I want to thank my fantastic panel for being here today and getting a few good laughs with me. Just shooting the shit, just laying back and talking about the latest and greatest in the world of geek entertainment news. Of course, I want to thank anyone who stopped by to listen to us. I hope you had a good time. Also shared some laughs with us. And if you haven't already and you enjoyed what you heard, hit that like or subscribe button. If you're not ready to do that yet, come back maybe on the next episode. Maybe give us another shot and see if our channel is something that you want to listen to. And with that being said, let's go ahead and close the episode.
You know how much I sacrificed?